Digital consoles are only as good as their operating system. The D-Show software is powerful yet very intuitive. Let's have a look. When you boot up the D-Show software, your first stop is the Options page. From here you should notice 8 tabs: System Configuration, Buses, Pickoffs, Snapshots, Miscellaneous, Interaction, Devices, and Plugins. From here you set up the entire architecture of your venue system. Starting at the Inputs tab, you get access to an exploded view of the input section for a selected input module. From D-Show, this is done by clicking on an input strip. Once here, you have access to all of a given input's parameters, including fader level, preamp settings, bus assignments, auxiliary send levels, equalization, compression and limiting, expansion and gating, as well as plug-in settings. In addition, at the Inputs tab, you have visual access to all of a fader's safe, solo, and mute status, as well as input metering and fader levels. Finally, I want to bring your attention to the bottom of the screen. This area is dedicated to status indication and alerts from the D-Show software. These sections are common to all 7 of the tabs at the top of the screen, so don't worry about missing an alert while accessing another page. Clicking the Outputs tab will bring you to the expanded view of the Output section. You can gain access to a given output's parameters just as you did in the input stage by selecting a given output fader. In addition, the large portion of the center of the screen is dedicated to the output third octave equalizers. Immediately to the right of this is the Members section, which indicates which inputs are assigned to the selected output. Clicking the Filing tab will bring you to the Data Storage and Transfer section of the D-Show software. Immediately below this tab are 4 additional tabs labeled Load, Save, Transfer, and History. By selecting the Load tab, we see selected show folders in the left-hand window and contents or shows that are included in these folders. You start by selecting a show folder, then selecting the file you are targeting. Immediately to the right, you'll see information and notes concerning the selected show. Once done, press the Load button to initiate the load process. Next is the Save tab. It looks identical to the Load tab except for the buttons below the file window. These buttons allow you to duplicate, delete, rename, and create new files and folders. Again, select the file before initiating any of these commands. Next is the Transfer tab. This is used to offload global console settings as well as all libraries onto an external storage device such as a USB key. Finally, we come to the History tab. This is used to recall shows that are automatically stored at designated time increments. All of the master tabs are also accessible from the View Mode section of the Center Control section. By continuing to click a chosen button, you can navigate all of the tabs for a given window. This gives you instant access to any page view. From here, we move on to the Snapshots page of D-Show. Here you can gain insight into snapshot recall running orders and names. You also gain access to the extensive selection of parameters that will be affected by a snapshot recall. In addition, on the right-hand side, you can assign MIDI parameters to be sent, as well as enter user notes for a specific snapshot. Channels that will be affected by a given snapshot recall are highlighted in red in the bottom half of the screen. Next, we move to the Patch Bay page. Here you're given the ability to patch to and from the stage and front of house racks to any input or output on the console. Note, we have an additional set of sub-tabs here for the patch grid. The tabs on the left side of the grid will always represent the tab selected from the previous level. For example, if I select Inputs, the vertical axis of the grid now gives me access to channels and effects returns. The horizontal axis represents all of the hardware inputs available to those channels and effects returns. In addition, all FireWire and TDM input and output assignments for Pro Tools recording and playback systems are handled here. What sets Venue apart from other live sound consoles is its use of TDM plugins. Let's go to the Plugins tab and see what's available. Here you have access to 100 plug-in slots distributed across 4 racks. From this page, you can assemble all your plugins and easily patch them into numerous input and output locations. You can also store and recall your favorite plugin settings here. DShow also runs as a standalone application. This gives you the ability to edit and build shows offline, which can then be reloaded to the console. As you can see, DShow is really simple to use. You no longer have to worry about an operating system slowing you down while mixing a show.